Ethan maneuvered through the crowded docking bay of the Interstellar Trade Station with practiced ease. His cargo ship, a sleek vessel built for speed and capacity, was now safely anchored among the diverse array of crafts that filled the massive structure. The air was alive with the buzz of numerous languages, some human and many alien, blending into a cacophony that could overwhelm any newcomer. As he made his way to the customs area, Ethan noticed a tall, sinewy figure leaning against a support beam. The man's name was Luca, a fellow Earthling and a longtime trading partner who specialized in exotic metals that were rare on Earth but found in abundance in distant galaxies. "Luca," Ethan called out, waving his hand above the heads of a passing group of short, furry creatures who chattered animatedly in their squeaky tongue. Luca's stern face broke into a smile as he pushed off from the beam to meet Ethan. "I didn't expect to see you here so soon," he said, clapping Ethan on the shoulder. "How was the trip?" "Uneventful, thankfully," Ethan replied. "How's the market been?" "Volatile as ever." "Come, let's grab a drink. I'll fill you in." Luca gestured towards the tavern that served as a melting pot for the station's diverse clientele. Inside, the dim lighting and the musky scent of alien brews provided a comforting anonymity. They found a table in the corner, away from the more raucous laughter and the occasional roar of a displeased alien. As Luca ordered drinks from a robotic server, Ethan leaned back and surveyed the room. His gaze settled on a group of alien women across the bar. They were unmistakably from the Andari sector, known for their impeccable trading skills and haughty demeanor. One of them, with luminous skin that seemed to ripple with colors, caught his eye and smirked dismissively. "What's the story with the Andari delegation this cycle?" Ethan asked, nodding subtly towards the group. Luca glanced over his shoulder, a wry smile playing on his lips. "Same as always. High profits, higher pride. They think very little of us Earthlings. You know how it goes." The drinks arrived, bubbling and emitting a faint glow. Ethan took a cautious sip and grimaced slightly. "You'd think I'd be used to this by now." "Never get too comfortable, Ethan. That's when the universe throws you a curveball," Luca replied, his eyes twinkling with a mix of humor and wisdom. Their conversation drifted to trade tariffs and new routes, but Ethan found his attention drifting back to the Andari women. He couldn't help but overhear snippets of their conversation, filled with sharp laughter and what sounded suspiciously like derisive comments about the other patrons. "Think they're talking about us?" Ethan murmured, a half-grin forming despite the sting of potential insult. "Definitely. But let them talk. We'll show them how Earthlings do business tomorrow at the trade meet," Lucas said confidently, raising his glass in a mock toast. The evening wore on with more light-hearted banter and serious discussions about potential partnerships. But through it all, Ethan's thoughts kept circling back to the Andari. There was something thrilling about proving oneself, especially in the face of such blatant skepticism. Tomorrow, he decided he would make an impression, not just as a trader, but as someone who could bridge the gap between different worlds. As the night drew to a close, Ethan and Luca parted ways, each heading back to their respective quarters. Ethan's mind was already racing with strategies for the upcoming negotiations, determined to turn the disdainful laughs into looks of respect. The next morning, Ethan awoke with a mind full of strategies and a belly full of nerves. Today was not just about trade. It was about proving himself in the eyes of those who doubted him. He met Luca at the station's central hub, a bustling nexus of activity where traders from across the galaxy displayed their wares. "Ready to make some waves?" Luca asked with a grin as he clapped Ethan on the back. "As I'll ever be," Ethan responded, adjusting his translator device. "Let's see if we can't turn some heads today." They walked together toward the designated area for Earth traders, setting up their booth with an array of goods that represented the best of human ingenuity and craftsmanship. As they were arranging the last of the merchandise, a commotion at the entrance caught their attention. The Andari women from the night before entered the trading area, their presence commanding immediate attention from the surrounding traders. "Look who it is," Luca muttered under his breath. "Let's hope they're in a buying mood, though I wouldn't bet on it." Ethan watched as the Andari surveyed the area, their eyes lingering on the Earth booth with visible skepticism. The colorful one, Zara, pointed in their direction and said something to her companions, eliciting chuckles. Taking a deep breath, Ethan stepped forward. "Good day. Interested in some of Earth's finest innovations," he called out, projecting confidence. Zara walked over, her gaze cool and calculating. "Earth innovations? Do enlighten us," she said, her voice tinged with a mocking tone. Ethan smiled, undeterred. "Certainly. For starters, we have advanced water purification systems that could benefit your colonies. They're compact, efficient, and highly adaptable. Zara picked up a small device, examining it with a critical eye. Seems primitive. And what's this? She asked, pointing to a holographic projector. It's one of our latest models, Ethan explained, activating the device to display a swirling galaxy above their booth. It can project up to 10 different galactic maps with real-time data integration. Zara hummed, seemingly unimpressed but still watching the display. Luca joined in, showcasing a set of synthetic gemstones that were virtually indistinguishable from the real thing. These are perfect for jewelry or decoration. The craftsmanship is based on Earth's rich tradition of gemology. One of Zara's companions, intrigued, reached out to touch the shimmering stones. See, not everything Earth-related is as backward as you might think, Lucas said with a friendly chuckle, trying to ease the tension. Zara placed the water purifier back on the table, her expression thoughtful. Perhaps there is some merit in your quaint technologies. Ethan sensed the shift in her attitude and decided to push a little further. If you have time later, I'd love to give you a demonstration of some personal gadgets we believe could be revolutionary. Zara raised an eyebrow, then nodded slowly. Very well, Earthling. Impress me, and maybe I'll stop mocking your quaint little planet. As the Andari moved on to the next booth, Ethan let out a sigh of relief. Well, that went better than expected, he said to Luca. Don't get too excited yet, Luca replied, watching the Andari mingle with other traders. It's going to take more than a few gadgets to win them over completely. Ethan nodded, his resolve firming. Let's get to it then. We got a lot to prove and a whole day to do it. The morning progressed with a steady stream of visitors to their booth. While the initial exchange with Zara was frosty, it sparked a curiosity among other traders, who were now keen to see what Earth had to offer. Ethan and Luca worked in tandem, their spirits buoyed by each successful interaction, slowly altering the station's perception of Earth one demonstration at a time. As the day wore on, the trading floor buzzed with energy. Ethan and Luca had garnered a modest crowd at their booth, and their displays of Earth technology were drawing curious glances even from those species typically indifferent to human endeavors. Just as they were demonstrating a versatile, energy-efficient toolkit, Zara approached again, her expression inscrutable. She was alone this time, which was unusual given her status and the usual retinue that followed Andari dignitaries. Earthling, Zara began, addressing Ethan directly. I have a proposition for you. Ethan exchanged a quick look with Luca, who shrugged slightly, signaling him to proceed. I'm listening, Ethan said, turning his full attention to her. I've acquired a piece of equipment, advanced in nature, but it seems to be malfunctioning. I've been told you're skilled in repairs of all kinds, Zara explained, her tone more respectful than before. That's right, Ethan replied, intrigued. What kind of equipment are we talking about? It's a navigational module, crucial for my ship. It's been erratic since I purchased it here yesterday, Zara said, her frustration evident. Ethan nodded. I'd be happy to take a look. Where is the device now? In my vessel docked in Bay 12C, she answered, her gaze sharp. Can you come now? Time is of the essence. Of course, Ethan agreed, turning to Luca. Can you handle things here for a bit? Go ahead. I've got this covered, Luca assured him with a supportive pat on the back. Ethan followed Zara through the bustling corridors of the trade station, their pace brisk. The silence between them was filled only by the ambient noises of the station, distant conversations, the hum of machinery, the occasional whir of passing drones. Reaching her ship, Zara led Ethan inside to a compact but sophisticated cockpit where the faulty module was installed. The device was indeed an impressive piece of technology, sleek and obviously high-end. Ethan set his tool bag down and began inspecting the module. Looks like it might be a calibration issue. These models are sensitive to transit vibrations. It could have been knocked out of alignment during your journey. Zara watched him work, her arms crossed. You seem quite adept at this. It's my job to know my way around technology, especially when it comes to making sure things work right, Ethan said without looking up, focused on his adjustments. After a few minutes of meticulous work, he reinitialized the module. The display flickered to life, showing stabilized navigation readings. Try now, Ethan suggested, stepping back to let Zara check the system. She studied the readings, then glanced up at him with a hint of surprise and admiration. It appears to be working perfectly. I'm impressed, Ethan. Glad I could help, Ethan replied, packing up his tools. Navigational glitches can be tricky, Zara hesitated, then said, I misjudged you, and perhaps other humans, by my first impressions. It seems I owe you thanks. Ethan smiled, feeling the shift in their dynamic. You're welcome, Zara. And thank you for giving me the chance to prove myself. As they walked back towards the trading floor, Zara seemed more contemplative. Humans are full of surprises, she remarked thoughtfully. We tend to be, Ethan agreed, feeling a sense of accomplishment not just in fixing the device but in bridging a gap between two very different beings. By the time they returned, Luca had managed to secure several promising trades, and he raised his eyebrows inquiringly at their return. Looks like we might have a new ally, Ethan told him quietly, a satisfied grin spreading across his face. Luca clapped him on the shoulder. Not a bad day's work, then. Not bad at all. The day closed with Ethan and Luca reviewing their success, both in trade and in making unexpected connections. Ethan's interaction with Zara had opened a door that he hadn't even known existed, one that might just lead to more opportunities in the vast expanse of the galaxy. Back in the bustling environment of the trade station, the following day dawned with fresh opportunities. Ethan and Luca set up their booth early, energized by the previous day's successes and the potential for more. As they arranged their display, Ethan noticed Zara approaching, her stride purposeful. Good morning, Ethan, Luca, Zara greeted, a slight warmth in her tone that had been absent before. Morning, Zara, Ethan replied, pleasantly surprised by her early visit. What brings you here today? I've been thinking about your skills with technology, Zara started, her eyes scanning the gadgets on display. I wonder if you'd be willing to share some of your expertise. I have a project that could benefit from a human perspective. Ethan exchanged a quick, intrigued glance with Luca, who nodded subtly. I'd be interested to hear more about this project of yours, Ethan said. Perhaps we can discuss it over a meal? I know a place on this level that serves excellent cuisine from various galaxies, Zara suggested. That sounds like a great idea, Luca chimed in. Food and talk, best combination. The trio made their way to a small eatery tucked away behind the main concourse. It was a quiet spot, popular with those in the station who preferred a less chaotic setting for their negotiations. As they settled into their seats, Zara explained her project. It involves developing a new type of communication device that can operate across different atmospheric conditions without interference. Something that could revolutionize how we communicate on multi-environment planets. That's quite ambitious, Luca commented, impressed. What's the current challenge? The tech isn't adapting well to extreme conditions, too cold or too hot, and the device fails, Zara elaborated. Ethan thought for a moment, then said, I might know a few human-made materials that could handle those extremes. We use them in space exploration, actually. Exactly why I thought to involve you, Zara replied with a nod. The conversation shifted towards technical specifics, with each contributing ideas and solutions. The initial awkwardness faded as their mutual passion for technology drew them closer. See, this is what I love about the trade station, Lucas said as they discussed. It's not just about trading goods. It's about exchanging ideas. Indeed, Zara agreed, smiling. I find myself learning something new with every visit. Their meal arrived, a collection of dishes that were as varied in origin as the clientele of the station. As they ate, their discussion continued, ranging from the specifics of their project to broader topics about their respective cultures and technologies. This collaboration could set a precedent for future partnerships between our species, Ethan mused aloud. I hope so, Zara said. There's much we can learn from each other. As the meal concluded, they agreed to meet again to start their project. Ethan felt a genuine sense of accomplishment, not just in the potential business deal, but in bridging the gap between human and Andari through shared goals and mutual respect. Thank you for the meal and the conversation, Ethan said as they left the eatery. It was my pleasure, Zara responded. I'll send you the data I have so far. Let's make something remarkable. Ethan and Luca walked back to their booth, discussing the potential impacts of their new alliance. You know, this might just be the start of something big, Luca said, a twinkle in his eye. Yeah, Ethan agreed, feeling optimistic. Something big indeed. Their steps were light as they returned to their booth, ready to tackle another day of trading with newfound allies and renewed vigor. Ethan and Luca spent the next few days diving deep into the new project with Zara. Their booth at the trade station had become a hub of innovation and discussion, drawing attention from various species curious about this unusual collaboration. As their workday came to an end, Zara approached them with an unexpected proposal. I've been impressed with your contributions, Zara began, her tone sincere. I'd like to invite you both to my quarters this evening. I want to show you some Andari hospitality and perhaps discuss our project further in a more relaxed setting." Ethan and Luca looked at each other, both surprised and flattered by the offer. "We'd be honored," Ethan replied. "It's not every day we get to experience Andari culture firsthand." "Great," Zara smiled. "Meet me here at the end of the trading hours, and we'll go together." Later that evening, after closing up their booth, Ethan and Luca met Zara as planned. She led them through the labyrinthine corridors of the trade station to an area predominantly inhabited by her species. Her quarters were located in a high tower overlooking much of the sprawling complex, offering a breathtaking view of the docking bays and beyond. Upon entering her home, Ethan and Luca were struck by the elegance of the decor. The walls were adorned with art that seemed to pulse with life, reflecting the Andari affinity for dynamic beauty. "I hope you like the food," Zara said, guiding them to a dining area where an array of dishes was beautifully arranged on a large table. "I've included some typical Andari dishes, as well as a few from other cultures that you might find more familiar." The table was set with a variety of colors and textures that seemed almost too beautiful to eat. Luca, ever the adventurous one, was the first to reach for a dish that looked particularly exotic. "Let's see if my taste buds are ready for this," Luca joked, taking a small bite. His eyes widened in delight. "That's amazing. What is it?" "It's a traditional Andari dish made from the roots of a plant unique to our home world," Zara explained. "It's seasoned with spices from the southern provinces." Ethan tried the same dish, pleasantly surprised by the burst of flavors. "You Andari have a fascinating palate," he commented. As they continued to eat, the conversation flowed smoothly. Zara shared stories of her planet's history and culture, which captivated both men. In turn, Ethan and Luca shared tales of Earth and their own experiences in space. "The more we share, the more I realize how much we can learn from each other," Zara said thoughtfully. "Our methods may differ, but our goals are often the same." Ethan nodded in agreement. "It's been eye-opening working with you, Zara. I think both our peoples could benefit from more interactions like this." After the meal, Zara invited them to a sitting area where they could relax with drinks. The atmosphere was warm and the conversation deepened, touching on philosophical questions about technology, space travel, and the future of interstellar relations. "This kind of dialogue is exactly what the galaxy needs," Luca said, leaning back in his chair. "Open channels where ideas can flow freely." "Yes, and hopefully our project will be a testament to that," Zara replied, raising her glass in a toast. As the evening wound down, Ethan and Luca thanked Zara for her hospitality. "Thank you for an enlightening evening," Ethan said as they prepared to leave. "I'll be thinking about our discussions for a long time." Likewise, Zara responded. "Let's continue this journey together." "Good night, Ethan, Luca." With a final exchange of smiles, Ethan and Luca departed, feeling a strong sense of camaraderie and excitement for the future. They had started the day as traders and ended it as friends, their worlds closer than ever. The next morning, after a night of deep contemplation stirred by the previous evening's discussions, Ethan prepared for another day at the trade station. As he and Luca opened their booth, the bustling atmosphere felt different, charged with a new energy that reflected their growing connection with Zara and the potential of their joint venture. "Last night was something, huh?" Luca remarked as he arranged the display of their latest tech gadgets. "It really was," Ethan replied, his mind still replaying parts of their conversation. "It's not just about the tech. It's about the connections we're making." As they set up, Zara approached their booth earlier than usual, a clear sign of her increased interest and commitment. She greeted them with a smile, which had become more frequent. "Good morning, Ethan, Luca. I brought some data for our project that I think you'll find quite intriguing," she announced, handing over a data pad. Ethan accepted it, his eyes scanning the information. "This will definitely advance our development." "Thanks, Zara. We really appreciate you diving in with us like this." "Of course," Zara replied. "I'm finding our collaboration quite enlightening. Shall we discuss this over breakfast? I know a place nearby that just started serving an Earth-style breakfast menu." "That sounds great," Luca responded enthusiastically. "Lead the way." The trio made their way to a small cafe within the station, its decor quaint, mimicking an Earth diner, which seemed to delight Luca. They chose a secluded booth, and Zara ordered for them, having familiarized herself with Earth's cuisine. As they sipped their coffee, waiting for their meals, Ethan broached a topic that had been on his mind. "Zara, you've seen a lot of what Earth technology has to offer now. What's your honest opinion?" Do you think there's a real chance for Earth tech in the wider galaxy? Zara considered his question carefully before answering. Honestly, I was skeptical at first. But seeing your innovations and how you adapt and overcome challenges, it's impressive. There's definitely potential. That's encouraging to hear, Ethan said, feeling a mix of relief and pride. Their conversation drifted to specifics about their project, discussing technical challenges and potential solutions. When their food arrived, they continued talking, their meal punctuated by shared laughter and technical jargon. I must admit, this collaboration has changed my view on many things, Zara confessed as she took a sip of her coffee. Especially about humans. We're glad to hear that, Luca chimed in. It's amazing what we can achieve when we focus on what brings us together, rather than what sets us apart. Yes, and it's made me consider other potential projects between our peoples, Zara added, her expression thoughtful. The breakfast meeting stretched into a lengthy discussion, with each contribution building on the last, weaving their distinct ideas into a cohesive plan. By the time they left the cafe, they had a solid outline for the next phase of their project and a list of resources they would need. Walking back to the booth, the camaraderie between them was palpable. Ethan felt a profound sense of satisfaction, not just from the progress of their work, but from the personal bonds that were forming. This is turning out to be more than just a successful business endeavor, Ethan reflected aloud. It's a bridge, Zara agreed, her tone appreciative. One that I hope will lead to many more between our species. As they reached the booth, Ethan and Luca felt a renewed vigor for their day's work, motivated not only by the potential success of their project, but also by the deeper understanding and respect they had gained for each other and their respective cultures. Late afternoon light filtered through the high windows of the trade station, casting elongated shadows across the floor as the bustling crowd began to thin. Ethan and Luca were in the midst of demonstrating a new software update for their holographic projectors when Zara approached, her demeanor more relaxed than usual. Ethan, Luca, do you have a moment? Zara asked, her eyes sparkling with an unspoken excitement. Of course, Zara, Ethan replied, turning off the projector. What's up? I've been reviewing the data we compiled this morning, and I think I've found something that could significantly enhance our communication device project, she said, handing Ethan her data pad. As Ethan scrolled through the information, Luca leaned in, equally interested. What are we looking at here? Luca asked, trying to make sense of the complex diagrams and formulas. It's a theoretical model for a multi-layered signal filtration system, Zara explained, based on your Earth technology, but enhanced with Andari engineering. It could potentially cut through atmospheric interference, even in the worst conditions. That sounds like a breakthrough, Ethan said, impressed by the depth of integration between their technologies. Have you tested this theory yet? Not yet, Zara admitted. I was hoping we could run some simulations together, maybe set up a prototype if the results are promising. Let's get to it then, Lucas said with enthusiasm. There's no time like the present. They moved to a quieter section of the station equipped with advanced technological setups for testing and development. The area was mostly deserted at this hour, giving them the privacy and space they needed. Ethan set up the simulation parameters on the main console, while Luca and Zara prepared the physical components necessary for the prototype. The air was thick with concentration, each of them absorbed in their task. After a while, Ethan straightened up, wiping his brow. Okay, I think we're ready to run the first simulation. The trio watched anxiously as the system initialized. Numbers and graphs flashed on the screen, tracking the progress of their experiment. Look at those levels stabilize, Luca pointed out, unable to hide his excitement. It's working, Zara murmured, a smile of relief and joy spreading across her face. I can't believe it's actually working. They ran a few more tests, each confirming the success of their initial findings. The atmosphere grew lighter with each positive result, the sense of accomplishment palpable among them. This is more than just a successful test, Ethan said, looking from Zara to Luca. It's proof that our collaboration can lead to real, tangible innovations. It's a discovery that could change how beings communicate across the galaxy, Zara added, her tone filled with awe and gratitude. As they packed up their equipment, the station's PA system began announcing the approaching end of the trading day, but the buzz of excitement between them drowned out the mundane calls. Let's celebrate, Lucas suggested. Dinner on me. We should toast to our success today. That sounds perfect, Zara agreed. Let me just secure the prototype and data. Meet you at the usual spot. We'll be there, Ethan confirmed, as they each went about their closing tasks, eager to relish the breakthrough and the camaraderie that had brought them to this point. The walk to the restaurant was filled with animated discussion about future applications of their technology and the potential impact on interstellar communication. As they settled into their seats at the restaurant, the feeling of a shared triumph enveloped them, reinforcing the bonds they had forged over the course of their project. To discovery and friendship, Zara toasted, lifting her glass. To new horizons, Ethan added, the glow of success and the warmth of friendship making him optimistic about the future. To the best team in the galaxy, Luca concluded, and they all laughed, clinking their glasses in unison, the sound ringing out like a promise for the future. As the lights of the trade station dimmed, signaling the end of another bustling day, Ethan, Luca, and Zara found themselves at their favorite quiet corner of the station. The spot offered a stunning view of the cosmos, stars scattered across the dark canvas of space like sprinkled diamond dust. They stood together, leaning against the railing, each lost in thought. The successful completion of their project not only marked a significant milestone in their careers, but it also forged a deep bond between them. It's hard to believe how far we've come. Ethan finally broke the silence, his voice tinged with reflective. Luca nodded in agreement, his eyes fixed on a distant star. From skeptical partners to creating something that might just revolutionize space communication. It's been quite the journey. Zara turned to them, her expression one of genuine respect. I must admit, when we first met, I never imagined this outcome. Your creativity and dedication, Ethan, Luca, it's been inspiring. And your openness to collaborate with us to share your knowledge and culture. It's changed the way we view potential partnerships with other species, Ethan added, meeting her gaze. Luca chuckled softly. Who would have thought? An Earthling and an Andari standing side by side, looking at the stars together. It's more than just standing together. It's understanding each other, Zara corrected gently, her tone warm. We've bridged more than just a technological gap. Ethan nodded, his thoughts drifting to the first day they met, the initial misunderstandings, and the journey to mutual respect and collaboration. Do you think our project could be the start of something bigger? Maybe lead to more Earth Andari collaborations? I believe so, Zara responded confidently. What we've accomplished could serve as a model. There's so much potential for growth, for learning on both sides. I was thinking, Lucas started, turning towards them with a speculative gleam in his eye, about the upcoming Intergalactic Innovation Conference. We should present our project there. It's the perfect platform to showcase what we've achieved. That's a fantastic idea, Zara agreed enthusiastically. It would give our project the visibility it deserves and perhaps encourage more joint ventures like ours. Ethan smiled, feeling a surge of pride and excitement. Let's do it. Let's take our project to the stars, quite literally. They spent the next few hours discussing potential improvements to their device and strategies for the conference. The conversation was lively, filled with technical discussions, strategic planning, and occasional bouts of laughter. As the station's night cycle began, the trio decided to conclude their meeting. They walked together towards the docking bays, their steps slow, not quite ready to end the night. Thank you, both of you, for believing in this partnership, for pushing through the challenges, Zara said as they neared the bay where her ship was docked. It was a team effort, Ethan replied, extending his hand to her. Thank you, Zara, for everything. She shook his hand, then Luca's, her grip firm and meaningful. Until next time, then. Safe travels, my friends. Until next time, Luca echoed, clapping Ethan on the back as they watched Zara disappear into her ship. Turning to leave, Ethan felt a profound sense of fulfillment. They had started as mere traders, but now they were pioneers on a new frontier of interstellar cooperation. As they walked back to their quarters, the station quiet around them, Ethan felt a certainty in his heart that this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, filled with endless possibilities, and they had just opened the door to many more.